Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to 10 Minute Mornings with Lester Love, and I'm Lester Love. It's good to see you all. Glad to see y'all coming on this morning. Hope you're already having a great day. Let's take a deep breath in. And get our day started. I believe something very interesting, and I'm sure you do too. Can you imagine how much time people spend personally on their physical body? Meaning, people want to grow their muscles and they want to get stronger. But how many people are taking that much time and that much effort on focusing not just on what they look like physically, maybe through workout, maybe even through makeup, or maybe even through how much time that we spend getting ourselves together physically. But the real question is, what are we doing to grow mentally? Mental growth. Let me give you a quick definition of what mental growth is. Mental growth is the step-by-step improvement in mental function, increasing with age. Increasing with age. Why is that important? I believe this is important because outside of our faith, the decision to grow mentally can impact your life more than anything else in the world. When you decide, I am not just going to grow physically in the way that I look, but also in the way that I think mentally. Now, the question is, how do you do it? I'm going to give you some tools and some keys that you can use to help you grow mentally. All right? Understand this. Growth happens intentionally. Growth happens intentionally because at some point, the body stops growing. At some point, the body stops growing. And the mind, as we get older, starts to shrink also. Scientists tell us that by the time we reach 40 years old, our mind starts to shrink unless we intentionally focus on it growing. It must happen intentionally. The challenge is too many people think that they will automatically grow mentally. They will automatically grow. But we must begin to change our minds from not just growing, or should I say, from accidental to intentional growth. John Maxwell, a worldwide leadership trainer and teacher, in his book, The 15 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, said this. He said, people are anxious to improve themselves, their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. Therefore, they're bound. Let me say that again. People are anxious to improve their circumstances, but unwilling to improve themselves. Therefore, they stay bound. Unless you decide, I am going to improve myself. I am going to improve myself. I am going to stay bound. It's a decision you have to make for yourself. Also, what I'm getting ready to show you now is one of the most powerful, unbelievable tools in the world. Research says that when we write something down, we have a tendency to remember it longer. But when we write things down that pertain to us more specifically, it actually makes us remember it longer. Now, here's what I want you to consider doing. Writing yourself a performance contract. Writing yourself a performance contract. Okay? And inside of the performance contract, I just want you to ask yourself two simple questions. And that is, what happens, listen to the wording, when I do this? What happens when I do this? But the second question is, what happens if I do not? What happens when I do this? What happens if I do not? That's the basic premise of a contract. I was placed with a contract in my hands. I remember I was placed with a contract in my hands from Beyonce Knowles' father. Okay, he gave me a contract. I signed the contract, and the basic premise of every contract says the same thing. What happens when I do this? Well, if I meet my performance metrics, then this is what is going to occur. But if I do not meet the performance metrics, this is what is going to happen. You must learn how to challenge yourself by literally writing a contract for everything that you decide you want to do, for areas that you want to grow in. What happens if I do this? And what happens if I do not? All right. Also, focus on the direction, not the distance. Focus on the direction and not the distance. The direction is more important than the distance. Where you are going is more important than how long it's going to take to do it. And the reason that many people do not grow mentally is because their focus is on how long is it going to take before I get what I desire. Our focus is on where we are going. The distance will take care of itself by the work that you put in. Growth is intentional and it's going to take some work. I remember I was on my way to Picayune, Mississippi to see my cousins in Picayune, Mississippi. And I had never gone to Picayune, Mississippi before. And I'm driving to Picayune, Mississippi, and they told me it would only take like an hour and a half to get there. And hour and a half passed and I wasn't there. Like an hour and 45 minutes passed, I wasn't there. 2 hours passed, 2 hours and 15 minutes passed. I decided then, well, this is enough. And I realized this was well before the days of navigation, that I was going in the wrong direction. And going in the wrong direction caused me to take longer to get there. And many of you are wondering why you haven't reached your goal yet. You haven't reached your place yet because your focus has been too much on the distance, not the direction. It's the only way for us to grow mentally. I will always have because I will always give. Let's give, everybody. We give daily because we expect to harvest daily in our lives, every single solitary day. Because I have seed in the ground every single solitary day. Whether it's TTT, Teruma, Tithe, and Treasure. TTT, Teruma, Tithe, and Treasure. The Teruma, 2.5% of all that I earn. I give it as seed. Tithe, everybody. Make sure that you bring your tithe, 10% of all that I have. I give it to God, and every day I give a treasure. $28 seed, the blessing seed. $8 seed is a seed of new beginning. And unless the seed dies, there will be no harvest. There will be no harvest. The seed must have to die. It must die. It must die. Personal growth. Let me ask you a question as you are giving. How much time, money, and resources do you expend on your own personal growth? Maybe it's a question as you're looking at how much you spend. How much do you invest in your personal growth? Through books, through seminars, through online classes. What are you doing to make sure that not only are you growing physically and you're physically strong by working out, and I want you to do that, but also like you are. Also, make sure you put that same energy and attention on your mind and thinking. That's the only thing that's going to get you to the next level. Have a great day, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Love, live, and inspire. Go out there and grow.